Got it.
Oh,
Oh, I got you. I thought you were fidgeting with the camera, and I was going to wait till you got done so it didn't look like a, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Editing
No,
glitch there.
no.
So it's Sunday morning.
Everybody got their coffee?
Ooh. Boy, I done had two. I'm fixing to have to go back and get some more.
If I have coffee right now, I'm gonna have to depart the video feed. Hello there, touching cotton.
Hello. What were we just talking about? What were we just talking about, Bug?
Talking about home improvements and appliances.
Yeah, but before that, we were talking about something else when we were waiting on Dale, and I was like, man, we need to save that. And now I'm lost.
Yeah, I am too.
Like a lieutenant on the field.
Somebody, we need to hire a fucking note taker or something. Just somebody to keep us on fucking topic.
Let's see.
We need a wrangler.
She can do it.
We're taking applications for a wrangler. We have one open spot.
Right?
I think you're a good wrangler.
It pays minimum wage and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right.
Submit your resumes at booger@feetfinder.com.
Did you say .gov?
It's gonna feel like official. It's in the government, right?
Right. You ever had your shit pushed in?
Or just use the hashtag small penises rule. That'll get it.
Right. Both are from the government, so yeah.
Yeah. It works.
So yeah, yesterday was just doing some yard work and cooking.
Yeah, we beached it up for a couple hours yesterday. It was nice.
Yeah. I didn't even get a pool yesterday, man. I got so hot cutting grass. All I want to do is just crawl in a corner.
So, Bridge, do you follow the Liver King? Is that what you do? Sun your balls,
sun my balls. There's therapeutic benefits.
Man. People were like, "I wonder if he's on steroids," and I'm like,
"No shit." You wonder?
Like, I mean, is he on steroids? I'm like, yeah, he's definitely on steroids.
That was a
Rob. Everybody's like, "No, he's not on steroids," and I'm like, "Dude."
Well, he was on
Rob
steroids.
Probably spends $40,000 a year on fucking growth hormone,
and he got ab implants on top of that.
Well, I mean, if you got enough GH gut where your ripped abs push out against, I mean,
it came out that he had gotten abs.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck!
Like people had tried calling him out on that, along with his whole steroid use.
You talking about the Liver King?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because he had denied both allegations, and then boom.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, dude. When I really lean out, like mine are like his. Like I've got really big abdominal muscles, and it almost looks cartoonish. You know what I mean? Like they're just because it's like some guys you see. I guess it's just because of my size. I don't know. You know what I mean? But it just like it's not like it doesn't.
You're a blocky build. Like you're an ectomorph.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, because if you're not, coming in real hard like that, then your abdominal wall is going to be almost like a pregnant woman. Not calling you like a pregnant woman, but it's just going to widen out that abdominal wall.
Man.
Hey, it's 2023 over here. Boys can get pregnant now. It's all good, man.
I know, right? He's trying not to be a bigot, and instead he's calling you a fat
know
woman.
That my arm is the size of your thigh.
Right.
Oh,
just think about that for a second. Put a tape measure around your leg and tell me what it is. If it's over 22, then you got me.
I mean, your fucking arm's about the size of my waist.
I think I'm right around 21 and a half, somewhere in that neighborhood, 22.
not too far off.
Just in cold circumference. You know what I mean?
Depending on the pants, I'm between a 30 and 32. So
when I came home from Afghanistan in 2014 last time, and I've got picture. Hang on a second. I don't know if I ever told you this story, but so where's it at? Here we go. So my wife, when I first came home, I didn't know what I was going to do. But my youngest boy, I think Gabe was maybe about 7 years old. I'm not entirely remembering, but somewhere in that neighborhood. We'll just say around 7, 8 years old. But Gabe decided that he wanted to join the Cub Scouts. And so my wife, and I can't find the picture now, I was going to share it through screen share, but my wife was like, all right, we'll get him in the Cub Scouts. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go up there and I talk to the people at the Cub Scout place. And they're like, yeah, no problem, but we don't have enough scout leaders to do the Cub Scout thing. So if you want your kid to be in the Cub Scouts, you're going to have to sign up as a scout leader. And of course, I'm sitting there like, the fuck are you talking about being a scout leader? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to fucking do that. So I show up and they literally, I'm trying to see how you do this. I know there's something in here to share your screen. Here we go. Does this work?
All you're getting to witness an ape work a computer.
The files are in the computer?
I don't know how to make this fucking thing work. So there we go. That's what I want to do.
It's going to have 17 tabs open and they're all porn.
Never mind, it's not going to work. Anyway.
He's going to show the wrong thing.
We're going to be like, look at this picture. And then we're going to see above it like gamebuttstuff.com.
Right. Sling food.
You're lucky it ain't in pieces on the fucking wall right now already. Too early in the morning. Come back at noon.
Right.
But so anyway, I come home from Afghanistan and I meet these cats. And when I came home from Afghanistan, the reason I was going to show you that picture, I got a picture of me in the scout leader uniform.
So, it probably looks like a Halloween costume.
I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'll be a scout leader. Bring them on, little bastards. So I go through this training, which consisted of a very complex sort of vetting procedure where they said, do you want to? And I said, yes. And then I was golden.
Pretty complex.
Yeah. A lot of hoops.
It's good to know the kids are safe.
But and you know, it's political. It's all political. You know how it is. Lawyer fuck me. Get down. But I think when I came home from Afghanistan, I think I was 285 pounds with a 34-inch waist.
Oh shit.
And so I mean I had to have all the clothes tailored, obviously. But yeah, so it was pretty funny. We went to a couple scout meetings, and he was enjoying it. My daughter at the time was 8 or 9, and so she wanted to go too. And they were like, "Well, you know, it's Boy Scouts." And I was like, "Yeah, but she's coming." He's like, "Well, normally it's just boys," and I was like, "Yeah, don't care." And I wasn't going to leave her out, you know what I mean, exclude her from something. So we go on this camping trip. They've never been camping before. I go out and get a tent and all this shit, you know, because I mean, you know how it was. Hell, we've been deployed for 30 years. I didn't have no fucking camping gear.
Right.
And, sit down. God, these fucking dogs.
Reacher?
No, he's fine. My other one's down here, and they're going to want to start playing, so I may have to yell at them a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have any shoes or a bat to discipline them with, so that's a joke for all you fucking Petas. Zeta. Hey, Zeta. But I done lost my train of thought now. Anyway, we go on this camping trip, right? And I get everything squared up, get everything laid out. Wife comes out there, you guys gonna be okay? Kids are like, yeah, they're all excited, you know what I mean? I got this air mattress, you know, it did really went out of the way to try and make it as comfortable as you can with a primitive camp. So we did that one camping trip and they were like, yeah, don't want to be in the Cub Scouts anymore. Fuck all that shit. So that was the end of our scouting career. But for a brief moment in time, I was a scout leader with the Boy Scouts. So
that's pretty funny. I want to see you in the fucking uniform.
Yeah, and I've got the picture. I just don't know. The computer just said if I start sharing the screen, it'll stop recording while I do it. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh, fucking stupid shit.
It's probably worried about some kind of copyright shit or something, maybe.
Yeah, people live streaming fucking shit and whatnot. Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe we need somebody that knows how to work a computer.
Again, minimum wage, hours are hard.
And by minimum wage, he means free, by the way.
How long have we been recording?
Not federal minimum wage. It's as minimum as we can get your wage, minimum wage.
Right. We're talking like, across the border minimum wage, like paying pesos.
Yeah, most definitely. This is all about the art.
Right.
Right. You're an intern and you can put it on your resume.
It's going to be a motherfucker to bring us all coffee, but
hey,
I'm pretty sure you can get it done.
Cups.
You literally get to say you heard cats.
Yeah. Fucking cats. Hell, I'm a lion, motherfucker.
That's all. You ever hear that?
You ever hear that Chris Walken lion thing? The lion thing that Chris Walken did.
The Lion King?
No, the lion. He tells the story about the lion.
I think
King
so.
of the jungle. He's laying over there and it's hot, you know. And you got to figure Chris Walken telling it. It's so hot. Yeah. You know how he does. And he talks about the lion. He's just laying there. You know what I mean? He just don't give a fuck. He's just laying there. The lioness, they come over and they fuck with him a little bit, and he's just like, yeah, whatever. You know, kids come over, they fuck with him a little bit. He's just laying there. He's like, whatever. You know, another young lion comes up to challenge him, and he's just laying there. He's like, whatever, because he's a fucking lion. He don't give a fuck about nothing. He don't care about the little shit. You know what I mean? The annoying shit, he's just like, what the fuck ever. I don't get wrapped up around that shit. You know what I mean? Right. But every once in a while, he's got to get up and he's got to show him, you know, he's the fucking king of the jungle. You know what I mean? He's got to rip some ass a little bit. I don't remember the entire thing, but it's definitely pretty cool to watch. Because he's like, it's just fucking lion. You know how Chris Walken, he's this fucking man out there, you know.
Is it from a movie?
No, it's like maybe it is. I don't know. I just saw a fucking video of him doing it. Nice. What is this, 20 fucking questions, Bug? Listen to the story.
I wanted to look it up.
I bet you could probably find it on YouTube.
I'm pretty sure if you just Google Christopher Walken lion, you could probably find it. I wish I could show you on screen share.
Well, see, we got to just start marking these time marks, and then we can go in and clip that stuff in.
Yeah, it's definitely from a movie. I can't remember which one, but yeah.
Anyway, yeah, go look at it. It's pretty cool. It's probably is from a movie. I don't know. I just saw the video. But he's just telling a story about his lion. He's just like, you know, nothing, the little shit don't bother him. You know what I mean? The spilt milk or the fucking being 5 minutes late for your Zoom meeting or something like that. It just doesn't really bother him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No offense, Dale.
I got myself tickled the way I slid that one in.
Did I look worried about being 5 minutes late to the meeting?
Not at all.
Look at my mane. It's fucking glorious. I am not sweating a damn thing.
Man, I found a cat this week here at home. I went to the barber this week at home. I found a guy and I was like, "You any good with trimming a beard?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I haven't even brushed my beard this morning. I just woke up. I hadn't combed my hair, nothing. But man, that dude was a fucking artist.
Yes.
I mean, when he got done, I was like, holy shit. I mean, he knew how to trim a fucking beard.
Nice.
Dude ought to have his own fucking show somewhere. I've been to a lot of people all over the country. You know what I mean? And
I knew somebody here that could.
Few of them know how to trim a beard. It is an art form.
If I knew someone here local, I'd grow mine out for 6 months straight, not fucking touch it, and go in there and let them do their magic. But I just don't know anybody around here.
Yeah, it's hard to find somebody. Normally, what I do, I even thought about creating a web series. Not a web series, I guess I shouldn't say. A tutorial. Hey, fliegen. Doing a tutorial talking about it because I got this system down. So what I do is I take a pair of trimmers, like the hair cutting guard trimmers, and I put a big guard on, and I put the trimmer right against my skin with the big guard, and I bring it all the way down like this. And when my jaw starts to slope in, that's when I keep the clipper the same. And so I press it against the skin hard, and then I pull it down until the skin starts to go in on my face, and I just keep the trimmer like that, and I run straight down. And then I'll put a smaller guard on. Then I'll go down to right about my earlobe, straight across. And I'll push it up against the skin, and I'll scoop it out right at my earlobe. Just kind of turn out. And then I'll put an even smaller one on. Then I'll go up, and I'll go about halfway up my ear. I'll use that little ball in your ear right there as my guide. And I'll do the same thing shorter. And so that gives me everything down to about right here. And then the rest of it, I just take the guard off, and I just keep that straight down, and I work my way right around. And it does a really good job as far as like a home, you know what I mean? As far as like being at home, because it takes out all of this completely out of it. You know what I mean? Like this all is done then. And then all you got to do is just kind of bring up the edges and just work your way right around. But it ain't near as good as what this guy did. I mean, having somebody that can see all the angles and get all the wild, because I mean, with mine, I can't see anything but straight fucking in. I can't look and see any of this shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's even harder when you got readers on the end of your nose trying to fucking do it too.
Yeah.
So that's what I try.
So yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. The funny thing, and I know I've said this to y'all before, but the funny thing is like when it gets really long and it's really combed and all, it's so goddamn thick, it almost looks like clay. You know what I mean? It don't even look real sometimes. It looks like that fucking beard that Tim Allen had in the Santa Claus. You know, you know, it just don't even look real. And
but people all I don't get that problem. Like, I got the Brillo pad.
See, people will say all the time, they'll be like, "Man, I wish I could have my beard like yours." And I'm like, they're like, "What do you do?" Oh, I use a shampoo and a conditioner, and then I blow dry it, and then I'll put a beard balm in to kind of help control the wild hairs sometimes. And they're like, "Oh, I ain't doing that shit." I'm like, "Okay, why not?" Well, that's just too much.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but do you want it to look like this or not? Because there's steps to get to this point. You know what I mean? Like,
I know that's it. You know, that's the thing. It's like don't ask fucking questions, waste my time if you're not willing to actually do this bullshit. You know,
well, I blow dry my beard every morning, twice a day. I put product in my beard because I wash it twice a day. But I've got this face thing under here, y'all. You know what I'm talking about, Dale. I've got these cysts in my hairline. I've got this genetic condition. They come up right back here, and they come up in my beard. and they get infected. And the dermatologist just says, well, ain't nothing I can do. Tough shit. It's just, this is the condition. It's some fucking Latin name that I can't remember. And he's like, just take some antibiotics, that goes away. Okay. Well, I try to keep my face extremely clean because of that problem.
Right.
So every time I sweat, every morning, every night, I wash my beard and I brush it in the shower. I'm not brush it. I wash it and condition in the shower. Because I'm stripping those oils away, I want to use the conditioner and stuff to put it back so my skin doesn't dry out. Because when it does, then it looks like I've got dandruff all over my shirt. I've been down that road. So for me, if I'm going to wear a beard, this is the steps that I have to take to wear that beard. I have to use conditioner. I don't have a choice. And but it's just funny to me how people will make comments like that, or they'll say, man, I wish I could be as big as you. And I'm like, well, come to the gym with me.
Well, yeah.
What time you going? I'm going at 3 a.m. And they're like, oh, fuck, I ain't doing that.
Well,
they're like, how do I lose weight? And I'm like, well, here's how you lose. Oh, fuck, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, and that's the thing. Like some people, it's like, look, you don't have to, start at the advanced stage, but what are you willing to do right now?
Exactly.
To start taking the steps.
Yep.
And it's like, well, and I'll say, look, I'm not even going to stay with you. I just need you to take these steps to start with, and then I'll check back with it. And 4 weeks later, I'm like, how are you doing? And they're like, oh, well, I'm not really doing anything. And I'm like, then you're not really that fucking serious, and I'm not wasting my time anymore.
Oh,
yeah, everything new. Everything new always starts off as, awkward or uncomfortable, but, science says it takes 7 days to make or break a habit, theoretically. So just the small little steps, and then all of a sudden that becomes your routine, because people are just creatures of habit, and they don't like getting outside of their norms, their comfort zones, all of that. They just want this. I mean, that's why our country's on a fucking position it's in, because everybody's fucking soft.
Most people want to be motivated, and that's the mistake, because motivation lasts about 2 to 3 days. Okay. And then it goes away. But what people need to be is disciplined. Discipline is something you got to create and keep with when motivation goes away.
Yeah. And that's what I had told my daughter yesterday. She and I were walking into the gym here at home, not at my house, my home gym, but the gym here in town. We were walking into the gym, and I don't remember what she said, but she said something. And she said, I don't want to be here. I don't feel good. I don't know, something along those lines. And I was like, that's when you need to come. That's when it matters the most.
Yep.
It's not that you're going to get a better workout. 95% of the time when I don't feel good and I still go to the gym, I get a really poor workout in. It feels almost like wasted time, because I'm comparing it to my own days of when I'm functioning at this higher level. And so all of my workouts and my routines are at a fucking 12 or 13. You know what I mean? And so when I'm only hitting at a 6 or 7, you know what I mean? When I'm just sort of going through the motions, it feels like wasted time to me. And it's not wasted time. It's probably still more advanced than 70% of the population.
Right.
But in comparison to my good workouts, or the days when I'm really fucking just in there, just slinging weight, and so I'm my own worst enemy in that regard, because I'm gauging my success. I'm gauging my failure against my success. And for me, obviously, my gym game's more of an elite level, I guess. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So,
but
what I told her yesterday is that's when it really counts, because even though you may not be getting the same sort of workload, the same sort of outcome that you would get on those other days, mentally, spiritually, that motivator, that discipline, that's what separates me from the other guys. Because when I see that piece of cake, and I'm not doing it right now, I'm not disciplined right now, but when I see that piece of cake and I say, no, that's not in my diet, that puts me one step further. When I go to the gym when I don't feel like it, that puts me one step further because everybody else will use that as the catalyst to make the decision not to go.
Right.
They'll use that weakness to make the decision not to do this, not to do that.
Well,
And if that's your choice, that's fine. That's not judgmental on anybody else. This is strictly talking about my own personal biases and my own personal decisions. For me,
well, and
I have to make those choices.
but when you break that down to the lowest common denominator, though, that's making the decision not to quit on yourself because you've made a goal. You've already made the decision you were going there if you're physically there. So it's making a decision, just not to quit on yourself. And so many people do
that's
that
what
on little small scales every day. They'll put more thought into quitting a fucking job than they will on quitting on themselves. And they don't realize how that just builds up over time into essentially a quitter's mentality.
Yep.
It becomes
And that's
easy.
one of the things that, like doing the whole fasting thing, because like people all the time, like, what do you mean? I had a conversation with a guy before I left Louisiana, a great guy, love him to death, a real Christian, biblical oriented guy. And we were talking about it. He said, yeah, I just started fasting. And I was like, yeah, I'm on one too. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I just do water. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I only drink water. Well, for how long? 10 days, 14 days. My longest is 10. I want to work my way up and do a 28-day, but I just haven't been able to make it there. Weakness for me, right? But he's like, so for 10 days, you're not eating any food? I'm like, no, just straight water. And he's like, yeah, I quit chocolate.
That's just fast.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. So he's basically doing something like Lent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Right.
But in my mind, when you say fast, I don't
That's no food.
depriving myself of chocolate in my mind because my scale is over here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when you say fast to me, I'm at this elite sort of level where you're talking about I just stopped eating chocolate for 2 weeks. And that's fine for you. But to me, what a fast does is it sort of realigns my chi, my chakra, if you will. So for me,
what kind of weight do you drop in that time frame?
Oh, it's insane. It is absolutely insane.
Well, and before he answers, everybody out there, bear in mind, what are you carrying right now as a size, Lou?
Oh, sorry.
What's your weight? What's your walking around weight right now?
If I was on a scale today, I'd probably say 295 pounds.
So 295, and you're probably what, maybe 19% body fat, maybe
probably
18%?
Somewhere around there right now. Yeah.
So about 19% body fat at 295. That means he's got a lot of high metabolic rate and muscle. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
So when he drops that weight, don't try to compare his weight loss to your weight loss.
No, you can't. You can't. I'll say this.
Well, no, and that was
I'll say this: the first couple of days, you're losing water.
Yeah.
You're depleting yourself of carbohydrates, and carbohydrate, hydra, water. So you're losing a lot of water weight with that, and then you probably got, I'm going to guess, depending on the size of the person, 5 to 9 pounds of food in your system.
Yeah.
At any given time.
Depending on their eating.
Between the food you ate yesterday and the waste that's built up over the last, 48, 72 hours. So the first few days, you're going to drop 10, 12 pounds. You know what I mean? And then that's why I don't use a scale.
Yeah.
People say, how much do you weigh? It's a very, what's the word I'm looking for here, Dale? It's a disingenuous representation of the composition of your body. It's not an accurate depictor of what's going on in your body when you look at a scale. A scale tells you how much you weigh. It doesn't tell you how.
It's one metric.
It's one metric. It's just one tool for measuring, and it's a terrible way of measuring weight.
For sure.
Weight healthiness, not weight healthiness, because most people will be like, "Oh, I lost 5 pounds." Okay, but anything over
in relation to what?
Anything over about 1 pound to 1.5 pounds a week, in my opinion, you're losing muscle.
The bowel movement.
You're losing muscle. When I diet, a fast to me isn't about weight loss. That's one of the side effects of weight loss. But a fast, a proper water fast has so many other benefits to it. And one of the biggest benefits to me, I always tell people, if you want to lose weight, do a juice cleanse, do a juice
Sure.
fast. But if you want to do the spiritual side of it, do a water fast. And I don't mean spiritual like I'm going to go up on a mountain and get some stone tablets, and I'm not going to be sitting in a room with incense burning, holding my hands out. You know, I don't mean that spirituality.
Oh, you do have that Moses look going on right about now, though, Looney. I mean,
well, and that's why I had asked about the weight loss, because I obviously don't have the body mass to do a 10-day.
I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend a water fast. I would, if you were going to do a fast, I would recommend probably just fruit juice, V8 juice, bone broth, things of that nature. Go with a liquid diet for a while. But I'm not saying don't do it. I don't think there's a downside to short fasts.
Right.
When you get up to 28 days, now you're getting into some serious compromise. You get up into 14 days, you could be pushing the envelope there. But if you want to do 5 to 7 days, so what I mean when I say spirituality is what led me into this train of thought was what we were just talking about, is that intestinal fortitude, if you will, that self-discipline, that idea to push past where other people quit. Because we all know what is the ultimate goal of special warfare training. It's really not. BUD/S isn't about teaching you. The primary focus of BUD/S, in my opinion, isn't about teaching you how to swim underwater. It's about teaching where the breaking point of the human body is.
Well, how far you can push your individual yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, once you know what that line is, once you really understand where that line is, then you know how much farther you can push. Because when you tell people now, when I tell people that I fasted for 10 days, 14 days with no food, they literally say things like, how did you not die? or how do you have, I had a conversation with a guy on a fitness board not too long ago where he said, I don't know how you even move. How do you survive with no carbohydrates? This is someone who was supposed to understand nutrition asking me, how do you even function if you're not eating carbohydrates? Because that's where energy comes from. And so I'm like, maybe you don't understand what you think you understand. I'm I do not think that means what you think it means.
Right.
Yeah.
But to me, the spiritual aspect of it is, because when I've gotten so hungry that I'm starting to make a deal with myself, when I'm starting to rationalize failure, when I've gotten to that point where I'm like, maybe I could just have a little bit of V8 and it wouldn't be so, when I'm starting to make deals with myself to keep going, you know what I'm saying? That's when you're really fighting. And when you win that fight and you go one more day, one more hour, one more meal, because long-term fasting like that, it's a game of inches. I mean, it's a struggle every single minute of the day, in my opinion. Maybe not for some people. It gets easier about the third or fourth day, and then it starts getting really hard again around 5, 6 to me. But that's the spirituality of it to me, is that I like doing the fast a couple times a year because I like that feeling of getting back in line. You know what I mean? When I've taught myself discipline again, when I've reminded myself that I know where the edge of humanity is, when I know what hypothermia feels like. You know what I mean? I know
well, and
extreme heat
creates,
feels like.
along with that though, it gets you, when you talk about kind of the spiritual aspect, it gets you more in tune with your own body, and you can listen to your body.
Exactly.
And your body will tell you shit that it needs, and it's, I don't know. I get what you're saying. That was why I was asking, because I was concerned about the weight loss, because I clearly don't have a lot to lose.
Well, and that leads into the to me the crux of this entire thing. The is a term called autophagy. Are you familiar at all with that?
No.
Yeah. I've heard Thomas DeLauer talk about autophagy.
After I want to say, and don't quote me on these time frames for all you fucking grammar Nazis out there, somewhere around 100, 120 hours with no food, your body enters into what's called autophagy, where it starts devouring. I'm going to give you a basic elementary premise of this.
At 128 hours, you cut your arm off.
That is true. So you got to watch that. You only got 2 runs.
Nom 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 nom.
But at about 120 hours, you enter into what's called autophagy, and the best I can explain it is your body starts devouring the damaged cells in your organs, in your body, and it creates and generates new cellular growth to replace those damaged cells. So the component that goes into that autophagy is so beneficial.
So yeah, I've not heard that term, but I had heard it described. I forget, it was some YouTube talk, TED talk, I don't know, some deal. But the guy was talking about essentially how your body can recover or it can digest, but it can't really essentially do both efficiently at the same time. So when you're on a fast, your body's, like you were saying, it's killing off those bad cells and regenerating with new healthy cells.
That's basically what it is. The body devouring the damaged stuff and replacing it with new stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this cures cancer or it does anything like that, but it will help decontaminate, de-stress. What's the word I'm looking for? Where I'm almost flushing all the bad out and creating.
In a sense, are you talking about something akin to like the what is that? The antioxidant movement that everybody was kind of talking about?
Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Basically, what I'm talking about is your body's. You've got, let's say, you've got fatty liver. You've got whatever. You've got something that's causing your body's degrading. You're getting older. Your body's degrading. Autophagy is just the process of sort of, I don't want to say self-consumption, because I don't think that's an appropriate word, but basically your body just starts devouring its own self. But it starts with the damaged portion first. So it starts devouring the damaged liver cells, and it starts devouring the damaged cells from this and devouring the damaged cells from that. And when it devours it, it forces it to produce new stuff to replace it. So it's almost like giving a little buff and shine to the engine. You know what I'm trying to make an analogy.
Right. Well, that's why I brought up the antioxidant factor, because some people liken that to like rust on metal. It's like it's preventing the cells from basically functioning at their highest and rejuvenation, or there's a lot of people there's a lot of scientists out there that have issues with the thought process behind actual antioxidants, because your cells are going to oxidize. I mean, you need oxygen, blah blah blah. So there is controversy in some of those statements, and so when people try to boil this down and they talk about some of this stuff, that sometimes they're being too literal, but that's not the point. The point is, what you're saying is the spirit is the way the body consumes the cells and allows for cellular regrowth, because your body does that naturally, but there's a certain amount of efficiency and processes that take place where autophagy make it more efficient, make the process more beneficial, right? Am I correct in saying that?
You're basically just doing a buff and shine, I guess. It's something to look into for sure. But I think that's one of the best aspects of doing a fast is teaching yourself to recenter. And the autophagy is just a wonderful component if you subscribe to that, that ideology. I don't know about the antioxidant issue. I can see some controversy being in there, and then there's obviously some controversy in fasting. And I don't think that if you have any sort of compromised system function, that maybe it's something you wouldn't want to just delve into willy-nilly, obviously.
Disclaimer, folks, we are not medical professionals. Please consult the guidance of your physician.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're jackasses, okay? All we're going to say is you do the shit that we do without consulting anyone. You just consulted us. That was your first fucking mistake, okay? We're just going to say that right off the bat.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
that's not good because I go to you guys for my advice.
We did all the stupid shit, and we're lucky we survived.
No kidding.
Right?
No kidding. I always said that after everything, all the places, all the shit, it'd be something like a fucking slip in the shower. It'll be something fucking stupid that ends me. You know what I mean?
It won't be choked on a cookie.
Yeah, it won't be some glorious ball of fucking fire. You know what I mean? It'll be what happened to Looney. Oh, he got a fucking
it'll be like this
cut open in a mail and it got infected. It'll be something, it'll be some fucking.
All I ask is if one of you guys finds me, take the belt off my neck.
Wrap a sheet around your waist.
There was a guy
Pull my pants
here.
up and take the belt off my neck. They don't need to know how I died.
There was a guy locally here 20 years ago, I think it was. I think it was about 20 years ago. I don't remember now. I don't know who did it. I can't remember now, but they were talking about it and somebody ran a call. Can't remember. He was laying on the floor, I think, butt-ass naked with a belt around his neck, watching porn with a dildo in his ass, and he'd vagal down. I guess the combination of auto asphyxiation coupled with the vagal response of having something jammed into your rectal orifice was just enough to drop his blood pressure down enough to where he went out. And I think his mom walked in and found him unresponsive and the floor was shit everywhere and wound up calling a med unit and they had to work him. It was fucking crazy.
What's a vagal response?
You've got vagus, you got these baroreceptors in your body that help control. It's just a systemic response. You've got some in your carotid arteries. You actually can do what's called a carotid massage, and your body will sense the pressure, right, that it's pumping against, because blood pressure is just a measurement of the force required to pump blood throughout your body.
Right.
So if your body senses that resistance, it will lower the pressure that it's pumping as a response.
So it doesn't overload.
Yeah, it doesn't overload. So you can initiate that vagus response and you can lower someone's blood pressure. You can also have them bear down like they're going to have a bowel movement because you have one in your vagus nerve, which is in your rectum.
Right.
And you can actually cause them. That's why a lot of elderly people will pass out on the toilet because they already have blood pressure issues. And now they're taking blood pressure medication on top of it. And maybe they hadn't had enough to eat or drink. And now they're sitting on the toilet and straining real hard. And when you strain real hard, it lowers your blood pressure and they pass out and fall into the floor. This guy did it manually with the use of an external tool, but he still got the vagus response, I guess, that he wasn't looking for.
That's how that kung fu dude died. That was in the Kill Bills. Carradine.
Yeah, was it Keith or David?
That was David. David Carradine. Yeah, he died from autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yeah. I remember that. I couldn't remember which Carradine it was, but I remember that story, and I was just like,
Yeah, like I
Well,
said,
that's what they want us to believe.
Wow.
What's the conspiracy theory there, John?
I'm not sure if
Suicide?
David Carradine has one. I know that Chris Cornell has one. There's a pretty significant and somewhat complicated and
lay down
theory about Chris Cornell's untimely demise.
But he had a beautiful voice.
He had just made some new stuff, and he had just had some conversations, and people that knew him say that he was not suicidal. There was no reason for it. And him and his wife had just started this organization where they were dealing with kids being trafficked and sold into slavery and stuff for sex, and they were really delving into some of that. And there's a theory going around that he might have been quieted rather than committed his own.
Yeah, because I mean, he had been clean for quite some time.
Yeah,
from what I had heard, and then there was all the he had relapsed and he felt bad,
and there's no real way of knowing, because as we said the other day in one of our other shows, is that now there's so much, you're inundated with so much that you have no basis for reality anymore. The truth doesn't exist.
Leave it.
There is no more absolute truths in the world. It's all subjective. It's all a scale.
Well,
it's like voting on a bill. You think you're voting for, kids to be able to be taught in school, and then somewhere in the back there's a fucking study for the flow of ketchup out of Denmark. How fast does it roll out of people's butts once we pour it in? They're paying. I mean, you just never know what you're getting, and you're only
getting even worse.
Pieces.
And they're even worse, and the reason why they're funding that is because they want them to use the U.S. dollar. So when they use the U.S. dollar, it strengthens our dollar. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's a good reason why the U.S. dollar is the strongest one out there. Maybe we do need a competitor, because maybe we do need to force some goddamn factories back into America instead of trying to farm out all the work, because we got so many lazy fucks sitting around collecting welfare checks, doing nothing and going, I want my Xbox and my McDonald's. Where's my chicken nuggets?
Well, we do have a competitor now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need that. Maybe we need a little friction.
I had this same conversation. One of our neighbors came over last night and brought his daughter, and they ate hamburgers here, and he and I were talking for a while last night.
Did you eat hamburgers too, or did they just show up to your house to eat hamburgers? Bag of hamburgers, and they sat down in your living room and ate.
I know that it begs the question, John.
I ain't got time for your shit. If we were in a mission brief right now, I'd hit you in the fucking head. I'd give you a little tap right in the forehead.
It would not be the first time.
We're not in a talk, and this isn't a mission brief, so thus.
And you're out of arm's reach. Where's that depleted uranium tank around?
I'm not a cat.
I'll just run to the mailbox. You can't catch me, fucker.
I think I broke my neck doing that.
But he and I were talking for a little while last night, and that was one of the things we were talking about, was just, take a look at this reparations stuff. Everybody jumping up and down about reparations. Oh, we need reparations. Okay, but how are you going to go about getting them? Because as I said before, there's documented that there were over 3,000 slave owners in this country who were black. They owned slaves. So if you're only basing reparations on the color of someone's skin, right, then how in the world are you going to decide which one of those descendants of the black slave owners gets it and which ones don't?
Right.
In my mind, that's the true question. The other thing was like that British commentator that I heard the other day. He was saying that you know, you only try this shit basically in developed countries that have money. Go to North Korea and tell them you want to talk about slavery. Go to fucking China. Go to fucking Libya. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to walk down the streets of Karachi
and ask for reparations for slavery. One, America's handprint on the whole idea of slavery is it's a tiny little minuscule portion. And I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm not saying it's right.
Right.
But I'm just saying that in the grand scheme of the totality of human history, America's involvement in the slave trade is just a blip.
Right.
For the totality of it, because it still occurs to this day. It's still going on.
Right.
Are you going to go back to West Africa and get reparations out of them for selling the black slaves?
Yeah.
Are you going to go to North Africa and deal with the Europeans that were slaves?
I mean, I was going to say, are you going to go to Ireland?
Every nation in the world used slavery.
Yeah.
Real life. Go to Dubai or Saudi Arabia and go to a restaurant and ask any one of those workers in that restaurant, because I guarantee you they're not Emiratis or anything of the nature. They're probably Sri Lankan or Filipino. Ask them if they have control of their passport. I guarantee you 90% of them all live in an apartment with 10 other people, and their employer holds their passports.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we've all been all over the Middle East. I don't know how many times I've been to Dubai. You don't see Arabs flipping hamburgers in Dubai. No. They don't drive cabs in Dubai. They don't do football in Dubai.
No.
Anybody that's working in Dubai.
They don't build buildings. I mean, it's all Chinese and Filipinos.
Anybody that's working in Dubai, 85-90% of the population is foreign nationals.
Well, and quite honestly, the great Joe Biden, who's supposed to be, all about this anti-slavery and reparation and pro-reparations and all that shit. If he was so about controlling the border, then he'd be anti-slavery, right? Because that's what's happening, is that these are people getting sold into slavery coming across.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, people are, turning a blind eye. All these leftists.
It's all the virtue signaling.
Oh, completely.
It's all the virtue signaling. I feel good because I'm not using fossil fuels.
And you said it right there. I feel good. It's intellectually dishonest, though.
But what I'm saying is they feel good because they bought a Tesla.
Right.
But they don't think about the human cost of that Tesla.
No,
because you got to mine this ore in a fucking mine that most likely is utilizing,
slave labor.
If not, they're getting paid basically servitude. Come here.
Well, you're talking about mining materials that will not come back. Oil's going to come back.
But here's the thing:
it's proven that it's constantly generated.
You mine the ore in less than perfect conditions. Let's just say that, and then you mine that ore right out of a strip mine that the cost on the environment and on humanities is just terrible. Then you put that ore on a ship, right, and you send it to Canada, right, where it gets processed and turned into a fucking battery that gets sent to a factory in China that then gets sent to a place in America. How much fucking oil do you think you saved by buying a goddamn Tesla when it's shipped all over the fucking world on a boat? So
and then they're wearing gold all over their body. Which
you plug your car in and you feel better, but then you go out and you buy a goddamn iPhone.
And this goes back to why
you go buy Nike tennis shoes, and then you're going to tell me how horrible I am because I drive a diesel truck.
Exactly. And this goes back to why I said maybe the dollar does need a competitor in the market, because I'm tired of us trying to say, let's fucking have trade deals with China. Let's put our factories over here.
You sound like one of those right-wing MAGA extremists.
Just maybe I'm a white nationalist that happens to be married to a black woman.
Oh, no. No.
Clayton Bigsby.
This cannot be. Well, obviously, she ain't black if she didn't vote for Joe Biden.
That's true.
She's been called a fucking white Nazi.
A white Nazi.
By someone that still has their teeth.
Right.
Well, they were on the internet, and it actually used to be a friend of hers that's a white liberal chick. Yeah.
Oh my God, a white liberal chick getting on their soapbox to her.
Oh yeah, the white liberals, man. There's two kinds of people. It's the tie-dyed hair fucking linebackers that nobody wants to fuck that always got to go lesbian, right? Or it's the fucking psychotic little bastards living in their parents' basement writing dark poetry that dye their fucking hair purple. Or it's these fucking ultra goddamn nut job black people that are out there wanting to put a spear in every fucking, and I did say spear, in every fucking whitey on the goddamn planet. You know what I mean? It's just like this was something I told this guy last night. There's no room for conversation anymore.
And what the fuck happened to our comedians from the 80s and 90s, like Whoopi Goldberg? And like, did you see that interview with Jim Gaffigan on Joe Rogan? Like, oh my God. He must have been fucking drunk during the interview because he couldn't make a coherent fucking thought on that goddamn interview. It was sad. But he was talking about Trump, and I was just like, have you seen anything on the news that had any facts, Jim? I mean, the guy was an idiot, a complete and total moron.
And again, I'll go back to my original statement that there's no such thing as right or left. These are constructs.
Oh,
Democrats and Republican, man, this is just constructs. This is simply something designed to keep you occupied.
But that's what I'm saying is like, I used to think these people were, I mean, to be fair, like Jim Gaffigan's only known for hot pockets. I mean, that's about the funniest thing he ever fucking said.
Little one-liners and
right. But the thing
is, if you dig his fucking crawl space up, you're finding some dead kids. I don't care. You can fucking look at that guy and tell, man. He's soft. He's fat. I guarantee you he dressed up as Santa Claus and molested kids. I guarantee you.
He definitely looks like the fucking uncle that tried to get you into the game
closet. Oh, he definitely. He's like, you want to take a shower? Here, let me show you how to wash.
This will be our
Touchy's basement. Uncle Touchy's basement fun.
Yeah. Show me on the doll where you want me to lick.
How come Uncle Jim doesn't come to family gatherings anymore? We don't talk about
that. Right? Holy shit, right?
They never since we moved next door to the school. It's weird.
You know, you're probably right. In about 5 years, we're gonna find out some heinous shit about Jim Gaffigan.
I'm telling you, man. I called it out of the fucking gate. I called it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, you look in that dude's browser history, you're gonna get sick.
But it's all. But it's like, what the fuck happened to these people being entertainers that now they're like miserable fucking cunts?
Look at Mark Hamill. Look at Mark Hamill.
I'm like, dude, could you go away now?
Every fucking day on Twitter, he's putting up 10 posts, and every one of them are about how
him and that
Trump is.
Ron Perlman. I'm like, that motherfucker talks so much shit. I'm like, go ahead and say that shit to my face, Ron. I fucking dare you. I double dog dare you.
He spent so much time playing a tough guy, he thinks he is one.
Oh, dude, I know, right? I'd love for that motherfucker to say one stupid fucking thing in my face.
Everybody's tough till I get out of the truck.
Right.
It's so funny when it happens. I swear to God, when it's all said and done and I've calmed down, it's so fucking hilarious in retrospect because these motherfuckers are just 10 feet tall. And I throw the fucking door open and get out of that truck and start towards them, and they run to the fucking. They run, and this wave of fear, just you could just see them just get so fucking scared, and all that safety of I'm in my steel cough, all that shit goes out the window.
Yeah, the internet, the metal coffin tough guy, all that shit. It's just like. Come on, motherfucker. Now it's time to get real. Come on. Yeah. Let's throw hands, motherfucker. I'm ready.
It's like you do realize I don't have a neck for a reason. There's a reason. You know what I mean? It's just so funny. That gap, we was at Chick-fil-A when we were about to go on vacation a year or so ago, and And I was driving, and we would stop by to get some breakfast or something. And we were on the way out of town. And I had my boys in the car. And some guys, like I'm trying to make a left turn out of the parking lot, and they're coming into the parking lot, and this dumb fuck just stops and blocks the road. So now I'm just stuck at the mercy of the drive-through because they're too goddamn stupid to leave a gap. So I'm like, beep, hit my horn a little bit. I'm like, can you move out of the way? And the guy just like, fuck you. And it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I immediately, because I'm in my wife's car, this Lincoln Navigator, you can't see who it is, you know what I mean? And immediately I throw open the fucking door, and out comes this gorilla. And this guy's in line at Chick-fil-A. And he's like, he's like, no, I'm not hungry. He's like, I'm not hungry. And I'm after him. And everybody in the car is like trying to reel me in, you know what I mean? But usually my wife's the only one usually everybody else just scatters. But usually my wife will be the one that tries to bring me down. She's like the chick from the Hulk, you know. Come on, big guy. Sun's going down.
My wife has snatched me by the arm a few times. Like, Dale. And I'm like,
no.
Like, fuck this motherfucker. I'm like, you know,
there comes a point where she'll just grab the kids and take off. You know? Try to salvage what I can. Get out of here. This is fixing to go nuclear.
Right.
I'll be over here out of the blast zone.
Right. I'll get the bail money. You just call.
Yeah. That's so funny, man, because people are like, well, I'll call the cops. And I'm like, dude, there's it's so weird to me that there's an entire class of people, an entire group of people that think that statement is a viable deterrent.
Right.
You will go to jail. It's like, okay.
I'm comfortable with that.
I know that. Now come here. It's like, I'm willing to accept that.
I got you for the next 5 to 7 minutes.
It's going to take the cops 18 minutes to get here.
I told this motherfucker at the Las Vegas airport, he did that to me. And I said, that means I got about 10 minutes of playtime. I'll wait for 5 minutes and I'll beat your ass for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make the phone call.
I can deal with posting bail if you can deal with the ride in the ambulance.
Right.
You know, like I say about spiders, if you can deal with the repercussions of it, go ahead and throw it on me. You got to make that choice.
Fair.
Hell, I got to get going. I got to get ready for church.
All right.
I'm going to go try and help guide some of these godless heathens to the Lord.
Yeah.
All steers can do is try.
Say again?
I said all steers can do is try.
I don't understand what it means either. I don't
understand that. I'm sitting here going through my Rolodex and I don't believe
I mean, booger through.
Hey, booger through at least chocolate's brown. You know what I mean?
So you said you were going to try and do something, and try is a defeatist mentality. A steer is a castrated bull, so all a steer can do is try, whereas a bull.
Oh, wow, that's like layers deep.
Yeah, it loses its layers if it takes 10 minutes to explain it. It's not funny.
You know, I guess just you know, growing up with the environment I did, I heard it all the time from my dad. So
that's a new one for us. And audience, there you now have a new one, thanks to Bugs.
Yeah, all three of
second level humor. Most people won't get it.
Yeah, no, well, I didn't get it. Yeah, I didn't get it. I don't think it's too cerebral. I think it's just dumb. It's like, yeah, I like taxis. I mean, we'll just start saying off the wall shit that means nothing.
Listen,
blue used to be my favorite color too, Booger.
Skyscrapers are tall.
Sir. I am not illiterate.
Loud noises!
My parents are.
You want to
like
come to the dance party?
I like lamp. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
See y'all.